you're scrolling, right? And your
Mhm.
mind is just trying to fall asleep, or you're trying to do something. I want to get in the psyche of this. And then boom, you see an ad, talks about living benefits or paints a story of, someone passing away. And that runs a story in your mind, and you start connecting those stories. And then it forces you, something elicited inside of you, to fill it out, to take action, right? So then boom, you take action, and let's say it's 2 a.m. in the morning. And then come 8 a.m., what happens with life? It just starts again, right? And you forget
Correct.
about what you did. And then you get someone on the line blowing up your phone, right? You're like, dude. But at the end of the day, that sentiment is still there. So you have to reach them. And this is the second thing I'm going to talk about, through technology. You got to leverage the technology in place. So while you're not there physically being able to call them, it's reaching out through email and through text on drip campaign. And I've said this all the time. I've said if it's repetitive and mundane, it can be automated, and it should be automated.
What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. This dude's been on the channel before, man. Every time we get him on the channel, views skyrocket, agents make more money, and the industry just gets better. Welcome back from the Brenes agency, Mr. Frank Brenes.
Hey, what's up, Cody? Thank you for having me, man. It's always a pleasure to be on with Mr. Askins, the stud muffin himself. I think you were just flexing, right? Right before you... Right, there it is. You've been working out.
Not bad. I mean, dude,
you showed the abs the other. If you guys follow this guy, follow him. He was showing some ab work on Facebook. So if you guys,
dude, we got 26 days left in the year, which means there's been 339 days this year. I've done 100 push-ups, 338 out of 339 days.
That's incredible. So.
But I didn't have the transformation you're having, bro. So I need to do something different. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, we can do a whole nother.
We need a health podcast next. Yeah.
I think so, right? Health is the new wealth, baby. Yeah,
dude, it is, man.
Wealth.
It is.
It is.
What I know that I asked you to come back because I know you've got some absolutely ways to crush 2024. With 3 simple strategies, which I like. The simpler our audience is freaking sophisticated and super smart. So we have to keep it too simple. But if we can keep it simple, then they're more likely to apply it, which is great. What's got you thinking as you think about 2024, man? What's got you thinking about because you're helping a bunch of agents?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually out in the field too. That's a thing that I think is
Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. This is the thing in the to be part of the field is to also know what your agents are facing, and it keeps your skills sharp. It really does. You don't forget that this is a voluntary army, and the best way to lead is you lead from a position of credibility, and that position of credibility is by you being out in the field. You just got to be out in the field. You have him on all the time, Mr. Ed Pritchett. That guy's still out in the field, man. I mean, he does 20K. He sneezes and he does 20K. So if he can do it, there is no excuse. I got to be out in the field. So you mentioned 3 things. I would say this. If you guys are listening to this podcast, thank you, first and foremost. My name is Frank Brenes. I have been in the business now. I've been in the lead-based life insurance business. Let's get that right. Lead-based for 5 years with the same insurance marketing organization. Prior to that, I spent about a year doing the friends and family approach, which, man, if you're successful in that, amen, hallelujah, you are amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. My hat's off to you guys. It really is. But in terms of the lead-based life insurance, there's 3 things, Cody, 3 things that you're going to need. And going into 2023, number 1, if you're a leader, you have to be out in the field. That's it. You just got to be out in the field. But speaking to agents right now, 3 things. You got to invest in leads. Understand that the the higher the price of those leads, the quicker to the front of the line you're going to get to speak to those prospects. I'm going to say that again. The more expensive those leads, the quicker you're going to get to the front of the line to have an opportunity to help those prospects. Okay.
So what you're saying is the more I pay for a life insurance lead, typically the better it is.
Yeah, because it comes down to data points, right? Now, I don't want to get geeky on you guys, but just think
This dude can nerd out, by the way. He can nerd out.
I'm not going to nerd out. Not going to nerd out on you right now, but keep it simple, right? Yeah. The more points or the more information you collect, the more you have to tell a story and to reach out to these clients, and that costs something. And last I checked, brother, like Meta, Facebook ain't free, TikTok ain't free. Okay, no. Someone's paying for that.
Amen.
So I just want you guys to understand that. Yeah.
What's the right amount of field? What's the right amount of fields? Because there's some leads that'll have, 10 to 15 fields. Some will have less. Some will have like 3 or 4, and they suck. Like where's
That's a really good question. I think what's important is, obviously their name, their email, their phone number, and then how much they were looking to purchase and what was it for? Was it income replacement or was it like what I mean about income replacement? You can also put in there legacy building, or last is just funeral expenses. I mean, if you know those things, that leads pretty good. But here's the thing that I would say, and I want you guys to remember this. Don't blame the lead. Don't blame the lead vendor. Here's what I want you guys to remember. Most of these leads are being produced on mass scale through either Facebook, TikTok, Google search, YouTube, whatever it is. Matter of fact, before we even got into this, there was probably an ad that came up. Someone paid for that. Okay.
Probably.
So here's what I want you guys to understand.
They need to get off my stuff, but
I target your stuff all the time.
Do you really? You guys see Frank Brenes all the time, man?
Yeah, of course.
You do let me know in comments below. Comments below.
Comment below now. You get a free lead. Where were we, man? You always interrupt.
I think you were offering a free coaching session to the first 100 agents to reach out to you.
Okay, now you got me. But understand something. Here's what I want you guys to think of. Remember, number one is buy leads. Again, the more expensive, the better the quality, the quicker you are to speak to them. So you're going to have to buy leads and be consistent at buying leads. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's a good price point? Because I mean, you can get leads for $4 or you can get leads for 80. You know what I mean?
Well, what do you consider a lead, right? Is it a qualified lead? Does it have those fields in place so you can know them? Remember, the more data you collect from the lead or from the ad, the more expensive it's going to get. I mean, it gets really expensive. I mean, I was running ads, and they were backing out to $60. I'm like, okay, well, I was just going to go buy from somewhere else because I'm not doing well here. And that's another thing. Don't go down the rabbit hole thinking that you're an expert at this. You're an expert at doing one thing, and that's talking to clients.
Correct.
Don't go down the rabbit hole of, I can do it myself. Because what ends up happening, Cody, is very simple. You lose essentially what you are and you waste your time. Don't do that. So pay for it and commit to it. Matter what was that gentleman's name that we were on stage with? Frank. What was his name? His name was Frank. Remember we were on the tour.
Yeah. Euphemia. Yeah.
Euphemia. He was with another IMO, but something he said was so wise. He says, doesn't matter the lead, man. Commit to them. Get them and work them, and just work them like
complicated.
Just work them. And he said something. It's so amazing to me. I started thinking, I'm like, man, it's not just my organization. It's industry wide. Yeah. Do you have a lead problem or do you have a you problem? Right.
That's right.
And so it depends. To answer your question, lead cost. That depends. Yeah. They're going to range. You're going to get them anywhere from 40 to like $50, $60 or something. Okay. And then you got a budget for them. If you can't, then expect it. If you can't get to the front of the line, expect you're going to wait a long time to get to the front of the line to speak to these people. So if you have more time to do that, you're going to pay less for those leads. Um, what I was saying, this, you could cut this part out, but what I was saying is very simple. You're scrolling, right? And your mind is just trying to fall asleep, or you're trying to do something. I want to get in the psyche of this. And then boom, you see an ad, talks about living benefits or paints a story of, someone passing away. And that runs a story in your mind, and you start connecting those stories. And then it forces you, something elicited inside of you, to fill it out, to take action, right? So then boom, you take action, and let's say it's 2 a.m. in the morning. And then come 8 a.m., what happens with life? It just starts again, right? And you forget about what you did. And then you get someone on the line blowing up your phone, right? You're like, dude. But at the end of the day, that sentiment is still there. So you have to reach them. And this is the second thing I'm going to talk about, through technology. You got to leverage the technology in place. So while you're not there physically being able to call them, it's reaching out through email and through text on drip campaign. And I've said this all the time. I've said, if it's repetitive and mundane, it can be automated, and it should be automated.
Yes.
Okay. Now that's not going to do the entire work for you.
Here comes the nerd. Here comes the nerd.
Yeah, it's not the data stuff. It's not supposed to do the work for you, but what it's supposed to do is be a consistent reminder of top of mind. And here's the thing. I don't know if you knew this, but I sold radio and television for a long time. I mean, like, in between getting a college degree, I was actually selling radio ads. Wow. And one of the things they would say is reach and frequency. So do you notice that, let's say, and again, this is going to age me, but I would listen to AM radio driving into the office, and I would listen from about 7 a.m. to about 8 a.m. on the drive to the office, and I would hear the same ad. I'm like, man, these guys are everywhere. These guys are spending a ton of money on this budget. But what I wasn't realizing is they were very, very strategic in frequently placing that ad in that day part. And the perception was they were everywhere. Okay. Yeah. And then there's call to action. There's all kinds of things that you have to do to elicit a response. So if you're not doing that, right, so the lead came in that way, but if you're not doing that through automation of being top of mind, they'll forget about you.
True.
They'll forget about you. So you have to do the automation part and then the activity part of going in there and actually calling them. What times do we call them, right? Don't call on Mondays. Get out of here. Beat it. No one answers the phone on Monday. Matter of fact, I want you guys to go and look up the MIT lead. It's called the MIT lead report. And it was a study done by MIT. And it basically gives you statistically when people will more likely to pick up the phone. You guys, please look it up. And you know what? It makes sense. If they're mortgage protection leads, they work all day. They're going to be home. You're going to reach them from 5 to about 7:45 p.m. It's not rocket science. If they're funeral expense, right? They're older people. They typically wake up early, and you could reach them in the daytime. I don't need to tell you guys that, but consider these patterns. Consider these patterns and leverage technology to see those patterns. So 1, buy leads that are predictable. 2, you're going to need automation. And then last but not least, and here's the rub. You ready for the rub? You got to be obsessed. You got to be a professional in this business, brother. You just have to be. Because guess what? Most people are going to quit. Most people are going to quit. You said it. I didn't say it. I think you came up with the stat. What, 92% will just, there it is. There it is again. That's a shameless plug, by the way. So it's 8% nation, right? So you're competing against 8%. That's it. Get really good about doing the business, not about recruiting, not about being the next guru. Get good at providing service for your client. Get really good at it. And then get your no quota. Have you ever heard of that one? Get your no quota. Make sure they tell you no. It's okay. Next, you're going to go through the numbers. Okay. So you have to be obsessed with the business. Cody, I'm going to tell you something, man. The business went from my head to my heart when I lost my dad. Okay. And I get emotional about it. But you know who wrote that policy for dad? Me.
Mm.
The number one agent that I would trust to write a policy on my loved one was myself. Treat this business as if it's your dad or your mom you're writing that policy for. And I guarantee you, you will be very successful in this business.
That's great.
And don't quit. Because remember, it's a legacy you're leaving behind.
Yeah.
It's a legacy you're leaving behind. And I'm looking at you, directly at you. It's not about your commission. It's not about getting on stage and winning the blue jacket. It's not about any of that stuff. At the end of the day, it's about mom being taken care of when dad passed.
Yeah.
And that agent that delivered was actually darn good at what he did. And so that's it, Cody. I mean, those are the three things we can recap, but I want you guys to just commit to being overly obsessed about the business. And I'm telling you, your life will change. My life is dramatically different. 5 years ago, you remember I was buying leads from you, bro, like when you first started.
You were terrible. No, I'm just kidding.
I was. It's okay. I was terrible.
I don't know. I don't remember, but yeah.
It's okay.
You know what? That's the progression, though. Like, dude, you're an impressive cat, helping a ton of agents, doing a ton of premium, still, leading from the front as well. Like, it's a testament to how anyone, if they do truly, and some people are gonna be like, obsessed, really? It's like, dude, I'd rather be obsessed than average all day long. Like, you want to be normal, or do you want to be labeled as like a freaking crazy person? It's like, dude, I'd much rather be the crazy person than the normal average human being.
Yeah, and give yourself a break. Here's the thing. Check this out, Cody. Do you know it takes 10,000 hours to become a master at a certain topic?
Yeah.
Subject master at something. It's 10,000 hours. How much time have you put into the business and expect to make all kinds of money, expect for people to stop and listen to you? It's not about that. Get busy doing the darn business. You've seen it time and time again. Oh, Frank, I'm going to crush it here. I pray that you do, but just stick to this business. I'd rather have an agent come in, really work their butt off consistently, get their commission. Half goes to their needs. The other half goes into buying leads. Repeat, rinse and repeat all day long. And if you can do that without getting distracted, without the noise and chaos of this world. By the way, I just turned off my YouTube. I got YouTube TV. I turned that thing off. I canceled it, man. I don't need that crap.
You don't need YouTube TV to watch Cody Askins on the YouTube app. Like, you just don't.
It's a shameless plug. I love it. Cody, do you have anything else for me? Those are three things, guys. That's it.
Those are good.
Ladies and gentlemen, three things. That's it.
I love it, man. If they want to learn more, talk to you, jump on the squad, get coached up, whatever, man, where should we send them and what should they do?
Well, I think we have a link, right? Do you have that link still?
We do. I'm going to put it in the description right now.
There it is. There it is. It's popping up, or it's
you can go down there and click it, and Frank's face will pop up.
Yeah, and you'll talk to me. Again, I'm not going to candy coat things. I expect nothing but excellence from my agents, and I hold them to that. You know why?
Yeah.
Because I want that agent sitting across from that prospect to be the best. Whenever you get in trouble with the law, whenever you get in trouble with your taxes, you want to hire the best. Same thing with insurance, man. Why is that different? That's your legacy. You're leaving behind a legacy. You guys take this darn business serious.
Let's go.
Start today. Let's push it from 8% to 10% nation.
I'll have to rebrand. That'll be an expensive rebrand.
Okay.
It'll be your fault, Frank. It'll be all your fault.
No. Hey, I'm cool with 8% as long as they're working with me. We're good.
That's great. I love it. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming back, man. I know you're super busy. You're a good dude. It's been good to have you on the channel multiple times this year, and welcome back.
Thank you, brother.
Frank Brenes.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you and what you're doing for the entire 8% nation. And you guys seriously follow this guy. He's awesome. I really mean it, man. This guy's changing this business. He really is. Nobody's doing this. Nobody. By the way, how does it feel to be alone in this business? It's insane, right?
Yeah.
I think 5 years now, Cody.
Of what?
You've been doing the podcast and the
8 years this month.
you were selling life insurance, and then you sold leads because you're like, man, these leads suck. I got to do something about that. And then now you're doing this.
Yeah.
So it's been a transition, and it's just really neat to see it, and just happy to have you, just happy to be a voice for us, man. It really is. But thank you, man. Appreciate you and everything you do. God bless.
Appreciate you, buddy. Okay. Thank you guys for hanging out and listening to the Power Player Podcast. You got the link in the description below to check out Frank's Rule of 5 and everything he does. And let us get some feedback, man. If you enjoyed this, let us know. Share this with somebody else. And we'll see you on the next episode. Brenes and Askins out.
All right. Real Frank B.
Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're going to love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there.
I'm so excited for today's CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. We got a special guest. He is back on the channel talking about how to sell life insurance from home. Here's what I love about this person. Okay, I'm telling you, this will be one of the best.